Well, hello and welcome to another podcast on Zoom. I'm joined by Lorna Rain. Was it Lorna or Luna?
Luna, as in the moon.
Luna. Right. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Brilliant. Do you want to start off by sort of telling the listeners or viewers, a little bit about yourself, musically, where have you come from?
I'm Luna. I'm been part of. I think I've been doing Luna Rain since about 2007. I think it's like been going on for quite a long time, and it's kind of started out as very much sort of a gothic sort of like a gothic sort of doom sort of sound, but we had lots of sort of keyboards and lots of sort of experimentation and lots of sort of bits of proggy elements and stuff thrown into there as
Okay.
well. Because I've been in like numerous bands over the years, like from like blues to black metal to jazz and all sorts of things. And I found myself in a situation where I moved around house quite a lot to different places, so I could never actually stay anywhere long enough to actually form a band. So I thought, well, I'll have a go doing it myself.
Right.
And that's when I kind of started experimenting. I got like a drum machine that I could work, and I was already playing bass and guitar and keyboards and stuff. And I just built it up from there. And it's just,
Right.
and now we're like, 10 plus years down the line, I'm still doing it. So, I
Okay.
guess people like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So whereabouts are you based then?
At the moment, I'm in Cornwall.
Okay. So you've obviously traveling around a bit
Yeah,
prior to
just
being here. Right. Okay. So with the lockdown, how have you found that has affected you musically?
it's really interesting because it's kind of music kind of expresses, in my opinion, kind of what's happening kind of around you and in the world. But yeah, so obviously it's had a huge effect on everybody. And regarding my writing, it was kind of, it became an opportunity where sort of, because the outside world can kind of, was not allowed sort of thing. So you literally can just sit yourself in the studio and just go for it, really. It's kind of like, I'm not sure how to put into words. You kind of, you have the space to do that. So if anything, it's kind of spurred on more creativity, I think.
Right. Okay. So, right. I mean, I've actually, on a few of the interviews I've done, I've noticed a lot of writers have said that the lockdown has given them the time, if you like, and the
Yeah,
headspace to concentrate on writing, which, is fantastic. But obviously, you can't get it out there in a sense because live is not around at the moment because of COVID. So, have you found that
well,
difficult not doing live?
yes and no, because I've seen that the live music industry has generally been falling on its ass for the last few years before lockdown even kicked in. Because as soon as like you had the smoking ban came in. I mean, I don't smoke, but that affects loads of pubs, loads of venues shut down because they couldn't sustain it anymore. And as times progressed and more venues are just gone, um, the only real live opportunities that people generally get is if you play to a pub for 3 hours for 50 quid playing all the usual hits, or you play at a festival. Now, that's the only way of actually getting known,
Mm,
really, because say all the other live venues are gone.
mm,
And and then it's like getting onto these festivals, but now obviously the festivals have been stopped. So it's literally like, so like no one's doing anything live. So I think in the ways of technology, I think what came around is the streaming live, like me and you are
yeah.
talking now, doing
Yeah.
live gigs from your home is going to become very much the norm, I think, for a long time.
Right. Right.
Um, and I've tried that like a few times, and it's amazing. I had a global audience from my lounge, in effect.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So
is.
it's
It is
good and
quite
bad at the
strange,
same
isn't it?
time.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're obviously you're doing solo stuff now. Then is that the
Yes.
right? So, are you just keyboards, or do you play all instruments and mix it together and put it out there?
Yeah, I do everything. I originally started playing bass, I started off with a 4-string, then went to a 5-string, then I got a guitar, obviously up to the 6-string. And yeah, I've always liked playing around with the keyboard. So I'm not like amazing at it, but I know what I can get out of it.
Yeah.
That helps to complement the sound. I've listened to a lot of like classical music. So I love like the clarinet sound and the oboe, and the harp is a beautiful instrument to introduce into sort of into the heavy metal thing. It's really fascinating sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love to do all that and get all those sounds going. But yeah, I do all the like the mixing and the producing and the eventual distribution, and it's very much a one-person show.
Yeah, well, what we're doing on this the podcast or this video cast is I asked for like two videos. Have you got videos on YouTube at the moment?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If you can give me the name of a couple of tracks, I can then put the tracks on next to this interview. So if you can think of a couple you want to go for, it doesn't have to be now, I suppose we can do it later on.
Decay. See, I've only got 2 that are kind of in my current gender position. I've only got two videos since I came out. So obviously those are the ones I promote the most, even though my other videos have done really, really well. I've got like over 100,000 hits on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's I say this is really interesting because obviously I want people to know me as I am now, which is like the true representation of me. Yeah. So I kind of need to make more videos of me now rather than me then. But I do love it that people like the me then, but I've kind of, say, even though I created it and I am attached to the old music and not at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole new can of worms to open.
Okay. So have you got 2 that you would like me to put up then for you?
Yeah, Walking Decay and Heaven Falls Quickly.
Heaven what?
Falls Quickly. Okay,
lovely. I will loop those up and then put them next to this so people can tune into them. So brilliant. So how do you see your music, sort of developing? How would you like it develop, in this next future after lockdown and all that?
Well, that's it. I've actually started writing in the studio again. I started writing a new song yesterday, and there is a kind of a difference in the music now. Is that before it was more sort of gothic-y sort of doom, like I said, with all the keyboard and the instruments and the cellos and all that kind of stuff. But the new music doesn't have that. I kind of just wanted to concentrate on the tones of the guitar, get the rich sounds and kind of really build it up, and more kind of craft the string instruments rather than the electronic fake instruments.
Got you.
So the last album didn't have any keyboards on it at all.
Okay.
It just had guitars kind of doing different sort of harmonic parts underneath the main line. I just wanted to concentrate on the sound, the really sort of, and more of an upbeat sound as well, because, since I came out, I'm less fighting myself, which is basically what Loon Rain originally was, an expression of, like a sonic therapy.
Right.
And now I've not got that internal fight going on. The music has changed and has become more sort of light-hearted, perhaps, but kind of heavier. I don't need to drench it in sorrow anymore, which is, it's a huge change. So when I recorded like the last album, since, and my sort of coming out album, it was like, oh my God, will people like it? It's like, what will, because the old fan base and, how will people react? So the whole thing was a huge risk. But, me coming out was a whole risk to my whole entire life, music or otherwise. So.
Right. How did your fan base react then? Did they shift along with this?
As expected, you lose people, but I gained a lot more.
Right.
And those that kind of, and those real die-hard, you know, more than fans. I find fan is a bit of a kind of a half-assed word. They're friends. They're more friends to me because, you know, they connected with my music even probably on more of a deeper level than perhaps even I did. And
Right.
it's kind of, so yeah, I don't like to use the term fans. I view everybody as friends. So yeah, so
Fair
it's
play.
nice to kind of have, yeah, a lot of them have stayed with me and kind of embraced the change, and they see kind of the beauty in it that I do.
Right.
The album before I came out, Requiem, was a seriously dark album that, you know, even I don't go and listen to it, because you can see the whole thing is a build up to what happened, that huge change point.
Right. Right.
And so such a huge change. And then this album comes out after it, which is like a huge sort of different breath of fresh air. It's like I didn't know whether to even keep the same name, you know, as Lunar Rain, but I did. And it's like, well, because I'm still Lunar either way. In fact, I'm more me now than I was then.
Right. Yes. Yes. So, I mean, where can people actually get hold of your music then? Where can they hear it?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Amazon MP3, all that stuff. And then
Okay.
I've got the lunarrain.bandcamp.com. That's kind of always been my sort of base, where I do all my main works and releases and all that kind of stuff. Tends to go to Bandcamp first, and then is sent out into the world.
Okay, brilliant, fantastic. So sort of a little daft question now is like, who do you find yourself listening to a lot now during lockdown? Who's been your, you know, go-to?
That's really interesting. Garbage has always been my go-to band since 1995. I've always loved their kind of, because there was kind of like pop punk with electro parts.
Yeah.
And so I go to, if I'm going to do any sort of vocal lines or anything, I always have to listen to the Shirley first. And she kind of like gets me in the zone. It's like, okay, because I love her vocal style, because it's not like vocal like, oh, like crazy scale changes or anything. It's more real. If that makes any sense. It's not like like the vocal art. It's more of a low level sort of singing expression that I like. But the main thing that's influenced me recently is that this YouTube channel that plays all these obscure like doom stoner metal bands, like Blunt and I can't name, because I listen to literally a new album like every day, and I love this kind of it's kind of heavy, lots of overdrive, lots of distortion, but it's got this kind of slow groove to it. And I'm absolutely hooked on stoner doom music.
Brilliant.
I don't do drugs at all, but I love the music they make.
Okay. Well, I shall have to check them out, actually. Yeah. Fantastic. I normally ask this question coming up towards the end of an interview.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a question that people sort of go, oh, okay, and need time to think. But, you know, I'll go straight ahead and ask it. You know, is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically right now?
Oh my God, so many people. My partner, obviously. She's amazing and has been through with me since the very beginning. And you know, my family, and like I say, my fans and the friends that I've made from, you know, it's from various sort of from like radio stations, and the fans that I've met face to face at gigs and things. It's had, and yeah, and so many people have helped, you know, give me the opportunity to do live shows. It's like I am so grateful to each and every one of them, and each and every person that's kind of connected with my music and really kind of understood it. And it's there, yeah, so many people, literally hundreds, and yeah, my brain's literally gone. Yeah, there are so many people. Yeah, there's Jet and so many people.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Luna, for giving me the time for the interview. It's really good of you. Enjoyed it. I mean, there's been a slight little lag on the visuals and the, you know, the voice, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But thank you so much. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You take care.
Thank you.
Bye.